saying, oh, I would like to make my side hustle my main hustle, is have your savings, So it can't be okay, next week I'm going to quit my job. No, maybe a year before, start thinking about how much do I need to save. You need an emergency fund. Calculate what you can kind of live without. Maybe that Mercedes, you don't need it, that sort of thing. So it's a calculated decision, well thought out. Take your time as well. So I didn't arrive here just now. I started Roots to Fruits 3 years ago, and now I'm about to leave my job. So
Um, I feel like the 9 to 5 is an illusion. It's this belief that, like, oh yeah, I work for this established company that's doing these things. It's a business transaction, whether you want to see it that way or not. You are providing your skills as a service, and they're remunerating you with a salary. They'll do nice things like maybe pay for your summer parties and maybe give you a bonus if you've done really well. But when you really look at what the value of your bonus is against the profits they've made, that's when you begin to realize that you're just there to help oil the machine. And for me, what helped me to come out of so I work independently, right? So I went from working for an organization. It was when I was faced with the challenge of I need more money. Manager, can you give me more money? This is a £1 billion business and you can't. That was quite shocking for me because you dedicate so much of your time. You even make it your identity, right? I am a consultant at Deloitte, at KPMG. It becomes who you are. And what you need to understand is if they were to shut down today, what do you have for yourself? And for me, one thing I've definitely come to terms with is you need multiple streams. I've been made redundant once, and I was 21. And at 21, I was like, oh yeah, but I have my whole life in front of me. I've got potential, I've got a degree, I'm smart. That's not enough. So it's really important to have different streams and different avenues in which you can generate income. And also understanding what is money to you. For me, money is a tool, right? Like, but what is the kind of a life that you want? It's something that I took some time to really define for myself. It's not just about being able to make the transaction because sometimes someone will be nice enough to buy you a drink at a bar when you're broke. Do you know what I mean? Someone might be nice enough to buy you lunch at work when you've come in hungry. So it's not necessarily about it's about what you use the tool for and what you want to define that tool for and building your life around that. Because you find you might live a life of excess because you want comfort, but is it really comfort? And understanding that actually money is a tool. That's how I've seen it.
There might be more questions, but obviously we're running on a time. Okay, one last question.
I've got a very specific question for Mr. Madzingo. So, I moved to the UK about 4 years ago, and before I moved, I was on my parents' funeral insurance policy. When I came here, I was told, "Oh, you're young, you don't need it, you're not gonna die soon." Um, and I think the conversation is very familiar to a lot of people. We've been telling each other we don't need funeral insurance, we don't need funeral cover because quality of life here is much better. We're not going to die soon. And everything else is priority over that. So, what word of advice that's a little bit more technical would you give to sort of people in their 20s, early 30s regarding prioritizing funeral insurance for themselves and for their families?
Yeah, it's a good question, and particularly so for young faces, which all these young faces here. I would say in life there's no accounting principle of first in, first out. Just doesn't work like that, and everyone. The thing is, that argument relates to the issue of death subject being a taboo area where people would rather avoid talking about. And by trying to avoid talking about it, there's a belief or a mindset, a remote belief that if I talk about it, it crystallizes into reality. If I don't talk about it, I postpone it, and death happens next door. But my advice is that to God, next door is anyone's door. So you can't live in this belief that I'm young, nothing will happen to me. If you are young, good for you. It's very cheap to cover yourself. Take advantage and cover yourself while least you are young. And we have had to deal with so many bereavements for young children, for young teenagers, for young adults. And that's when you realize that when you say the heavens have gained, sometimes it takes a literal meaning to say such a young life promoted to the heavens have really gained. But what you don't want is to have a situation where something like that happens. You may think I've got the cash, I've got the savings, but the reality of life is that you need insurance, because insurance, you only pay a small premium for a bigger benefit in the case of a catastrophic event happening. That is why you go and buy your car for 50,000, 30,000, 20,000 quite. Because if you crash it, then for the small premium, you get a replacement. And that's how it works. And if you look at someone saying, me, I don't really need insurance, I've got 30,000, 50,000 cash in the bank. The next thing you find yourself going into this, just starting your own operation, going on holiday, the savings are gone and strikes. So death can happen to anyone at any time. And there is no death happens next door, I'm still young. Can be promoted at any time. And these girls came to greet me. I'd almost forgotten them. Now I remember them. Lost their friend, a very young lady. On 2 years now, we lost their friend, and luckily the mother had taken. It was on the cash cover. It was such a beautiful send off. So anyone can time. Or there's no escape. You can't postpone it. When your time comes, it has come. Whether you are young, old, rich, poor, it doesn't matter. When your time comes, it comes, and you just have to be prepared for it. So my advice is that if you are young, good for you. The premiums are cheaper.
Thank you, Mr. Madzingo.